Morning, Sunday morning. Back onto this second gear mystery. Thank you all for all your comments. I think I might be onto something though, thanks to one of the comments. I'll tell you about it in a minute, but one of the things that somebody said might be the clutch. We'll jump into this straight away. It might be the clutch. Well, this is the strangest thing, you know, having a big mass, because outside there on my 3.9 Isuzu it has a truck clutch. It hasn't got the Rover V8 style that they had in Australia. It's got a big clutch. This is it down here. Just to put this in perspective, this is a spare I got with the engine, but just to put this in perspective how big it is, that's a clutch plate off a TDI. Well, twice the surface area. Amazing, huge. Now, going back to just Australia while I put this on, a lot of people who put R380s behind these Isuzus with the V8 style clutch found out that the gearboxes bearings were going, and that was something to do with the frequency of the 4-cylinder engine. It didn't have enough mass to turn it around. Well, I do love a good mass, but this is heavy. The flywheel was heavy on the original Isuzu, so it damped down those pulses from the engine. Now, how I can say this with confidence is I've been driving my Isuzu 3.9 there, and I've got about 800 hours in it in 10 years. It's not that much, but the gearbox was built with crappy parts from Brit part, I do believe. I always put Timken bearings in, but I use their synchro rings, but it's smooth as silk, even with this big Isuzu in it. And it's never given a problem, which reminds me I should change the oil. So, we've had quite a few comments and quite a few suggestions. And this is typical of not knowing what a used part or a new part looks like. Because one chap said, could it be the selector fork is worn? Here. And I said, well, 20 years I've never even seen one wear out. Until now, because I've got a flea in my ear now, and I thought this shaft here with all the new parts is working exactly the same as the old parts. I'll have to admit it, I couldn't find much of a difference. That's on the bench, you know, flicking in and out of gear. So I had a look through my toolbox, or my box of parts, and I found this. Now I have cleaned it up through the vapor blaster, but this is what the chap was talking about. Because I said, well, if the fork was worn here, these little slippers, surely it would be bad to get into first. See what my logic was thinking? And I said, I always sort of check them, but I never actually measured them. I just eyeball them and think, oh yeah, that's alright. And it wasn't until I saw this one that I realised I might be wrong, and this might be the answer. Now, to make life easier, this one in the bench here, I set up in the caliper and I measured it, but I set the increment to 0, so that's now at 0 millimetre. Oh, wait a minute, have I got it on the right one? Yeah. So I've set that at 0 millimetres, so we can see the difference in the two. You ready, boys and girls? It's a bit tricky to get into. This is 0.45 millimetres bigger. That's half a millimetre. Now, I know they say that size doesn't matter, but it does in this instance. Because there's our used hub, and this is how it fits. I'm deliberately moving it side to side, you can hear. It's a nice snug fit. I've got the micrometer out. That is 7.15. I don't know if you can read it. With my eyes it's getting worse. 7.15. On this one, the newer one, 7.5. So there's a bit of a difference, eh? I also measured the front one, the third and the fourth. It's thinner. Ooh, it's a lot thinner. 7.18. How does it fit in the selector? I know it goes the other way, but that's the new one. So I'm going to have to make a mix and match set. I'm going to put this one with this one, and then they'll be nice and tight, and we can't go wrong. You know, when we put these parts together, I'm going to have to do some editing here. This is nice and tight, and this is nice and tight. I wonder if that's it. I really do wonder if that's it. But definitely this one here is one. Like I say, I dug out an LT77 one there, but that's the same idea but completely different. Well, just out of shits and giggles, was it? No, it doesn't even fit because it's a different size. You can't see that, can you? So there's an old LT77, but it won't even fit around the synchros. The synchros are small. Well, well, well. That's interesting. That's very interesting. You see, I'm just wondering, I was just thinking out loud when I was reading comments and stuff like this about this second gear. Could it be that a lot of people, obviously round towns and messing about, are using the gear stick as an armrest in second, which you should never do, because it's convenient, isn't it? You put your arm, it's not one of them things, but you know, you rest your arm on the gear stick. What it's doing is, it's putting pressure on this little pad here to push against the synchro whilst it's already in gear. And that would account for why the other side's not worn in first, because all they're doing is going from first to second like that. You can't rest your arm on first, it'd be very, very uncomfortable. Interesting. Well, thanks for that. I'm glad I did this video now. I thought it was going to be really embarrassing and expensive, but it worked out kind of nice. So it's one of those things to look for. Now, probably when I did my R380 in my truck, I slipped on the ring and found out it was a nice tight fit. Something to watch for. Now, can you repair them? I would say no, because the brass, maybe, I don't know, because the brass, or maybe you could TIG them. Maybe you could TIG weld them. Don't throw them out yet then. But 7.5 millimeters is what you're looking for. 7.5 millimeters, who would have thought it? Right. Thanks for all your comments and your shares and stuff like this. I think we might be onto something. So I'll build this box up. I won't do a video of building it up because we've done it time and time again. But from now on, I think if there's no burrs in here, deburr that. What did I use? I used a little Dremel like that with a 120 wheel in it, and just polished it off, and it moves lovely. It moves just as good as the old one. We know what a new gear looks like. So I think a set of Ashcroft rings and a set of Timken bearings, away you go. Could solve a lot of problems. See ya.